Black college-educated people still tend to be more violent and criminal than white high school dropouts.
Really?
Yeah.
The facts do remain that Negroes, children, do not perform as well in schools as white children. Now, you can ascribe whatever reasons you want, and they're arguable. But the statement I just made is not arguable because it's a matter of fact. The strength of the Negro race do not lie in the field of academic achievement as a group. Again, making this generalization, which doesn't apply to individuals.
Where then is its strength?
In the fields of emotion, in arts, in music, and things of that kind.
If you lose the suit, if you lose the court case, what will happen?
Then I think Malvern School District 12 will become a totally Negro community.
Why?
Because I think the whites will get out and the Negroes will come in.
It's important to note that interwoven into these tropes about community building and heritage celebration is a much more intense core, and one that embraces controversial and outdated race science.
The average IQ in some parts of sub-Saharan Africa is under 75, which is considered mentally disabled.
These tests were made for the purpose of figuring out who's going to do well in school. It doesn't tell you about emotional intelligence, creative intelligence, common sense, wisdom. There's so much more to a person than just their IQ. I would say the major problem has been what's sometimes called scientific racism, but it's not really scientific. It's using the guise of science to advance racist views, because you sometimes get racial differences in different kinds of test scores, including IQ, that don't take into account where those differences may come from. It was convenient for some people to say, well, look, we can divide people by nationality or socially defined race or ethnic group or religion into different IQ groups, and they probably believed themselves that it told you something, but it didn't tell you what they thought it told you. People with high IQs are often better at convincing themselves of whatever they want. So in other words, they use their IQ for self-justification. They're better at justifying whatever they want to believe. So if they have an ideology, they may have a very weird ideology, but they'll find ways to defend it even if it's not factually accurate.
I said I'm never coming back again. Next I stepped away from the mirror. I got my mind made up now, cause I can see the future much clearer. What's happening? L.A.R. movement still moving. This racial IQ conversation debate is stupid. And I'm going to say some reasons why. First thing is this. Normally, you're a child when you take the IQ test, right? And when people make the reference, because usually it's racist people, oh, you're sub-Saharan Africa. What about America? See, sub-Saharan Africa is supposed to be black there and here, but you're talking about the IQ of kids between 5 and 8. You're not talking about adults. Okay? That's the interesting thing. Then they had the clip about the white guy driving a car. And just for reference, you notice in the 60s, the guy didn't talk about athletics, right? Because it was racism. It was Jim Crow when that was made. But here's the other thing. Especially when it comes to intelligence, white people didn't have to deal with racist teachers. So this idea of being smart, you know, in a general sense, the teachers were white, but and white teachers made dumb white kids smarter, and that was their job. But on the flip side, they made smart black kids dumber because that was also their job. That was going on simultaneously, right? Usually the smart kids were taught by their own people. That's usually the thing. So this is why the IQ conversation or quote unquote debate is crazy, because some of these people, you're not asking other adults what their IQ is. You're not going, oh, well, when I was 7, my IQ was 105. And then like, okay, well, mine was 127. It's like, it's a silly conversation. And then you add to it other factors. Like part of this whole IQ thing was meant to be racial. It was meant to say, you're better than this person. And that was for people who needed to feel better than other people because they weren't really good at anything. See, the IQ debate, whether it be racial or not, it really comes from needing to feel better than a hypothetical other person, a theoretical other person, because these people that you're smarter than, they're not in real life. They're just in your imagination. The other thing, well, I got to do it. There are people in America who went to Ivy League colleges that people think are functionally retarded or thought. And unfortunately, I got to use this, but that's what they thought about George W. Bush. Like, how did he go to? Yeah, what the? Because and this was less than 15 years ago. And I say that to say, nepotism, racism put people who weren't that bright into quote unquote power positions, and the mediocrity is normalized. So this concept of all these genius people, you really don't meet these genius people. You really don't. You meet a lot of people who are below average. And you fast forward to even now, where they talk about how college educated kids aren't good at reading, even at Ivy League schools. What's their IQ? You want to talk about their IQ? It's like, this is an overrated conversation. But like I said, people need to feel better than other people. And a lot of times, the people who are on this aren't that smart to begin with. They're not that smart. It's people who are not smart saying they're smarter than imaginary people, which is dumb at its premise. But let's add some more to this. They say, you can have book smarts but not common sense, and vice versa. You can have common sense and not have book smarts, and then you have people who are both, right? A lot of these people actually haven't had their ability as a human being tested. And since you haven't had your ability tested, you actually don't know who you're smarter than. And even going back, you go from IQ to test, like, ACT test scores or whatever. You can go to, hold on. Okay. Because of the different concepts of intelligence. And here's the other thing about intelligence. There are like seven different types. So, mathematical, what is it? Oration, kinetic or kinesiology, I think mechanical. Did I say mechanical? It's engineering. I forgot the other two right now. But it's like talking, using your body, using mathematics, working with your hands. It's a few of them. A lot of times, people don't realize that you might be good at this one thing, but you might not be good at these other things, right? So intelligence is like the how smart you are in the amalgamation of those seven. But people need something to feel better, which is interesting because these people don't compete against anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not like, my IQ is da 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 da. So let's have a debate about blah blah blah. Or let's put all of our skills to use and see who's smarter. It's you know you're the star of your own movie. You're the hero in your own mind, and you're better than people that you made up in your own your own origin story. So the racial aspect of it is crazy, but it's America, so it's not beyond what's going on. And then before I go, as the guy on the back end was talking about, a lot of this stuff was skewed to make white people look better than everybody else. Okay, it's not and y'all think, it's just a test. No, it's not just a test, because you got to deal with the person who's testing you, and the person who's testing you is normally not of your same race. Okay, so just like I said, the teachers were trying to make you dumber. The same, it's an IQ test. People try to make you uncomfortable. And sometimes you just don't want to be there. Like, man, I don't want to be in this stupid ass room with this stupid ass test. I don't even know these people. But people don't take things like that into consideration because, hey, I just need to believe I'm better than you. And in the end, it doesn't really work out the way you say in your mind. Because even those people who were on that IQ stuff, you remember they had the all white enclaves and they couldn't do anything? But hey, they got a high IQs. It is what it is, right? But let me get out of here. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.